Another one.
Challenges and frustrations of working at a metaverse startup. All right. I work as a test engineer for a let's start that over again. I work as a engineer for a metaverse based company that does demos and customizations for clients. I am the only tester in the team, and I have to test on different platforms and update all the documents for each client. I also do API testing that the developers often miss to that the developer often misses to add what was asked in the user story for them to add. I have problems with my managers who changes the requirements without telling me and uses Google Sheets instead of Jira. He also assigns me extra reports at the end of the day and expects me to finish them by end of day, which means midnight. I work 10 to 14 hours a day, mostly on documentation and unrealistic deadlines. I want to tell them to hire more people or lower their expectations. They are a startup with no clear processes and no communication. How to politely say no and demand more staff. Like I said, this one is a doozy, all right? So let's get this off the screen. All right. So here it is. All right. All right. All right. So let's break it down line by line. So you work for a metaverse based company, and you do demos and customizations, which I think that's very cool to me. All right, before we go in on this, I think that's very cool working for a metaverse based company, and you're like, and the company, I don't know if that's what the company does or if that's what you do, but doing demos and customizations for their clients. So this one, I mean, you try to sneak one in on us. They tried to sneak one in on us. No, that's not happening. 5 minutes on the clock. All right, here we go. So there are so many different aspects to this one, but I'm going to try to break it down piece by piece. All right. So the first thing is the developer often missing to add what was asked in the user story, and now you have to go back and rework it. That is a big no-no. I used to have this issue a few companies ago where you'd have the acceptance criteria, and it's like now they say, okay, it's ready for testing. It's on whatever branch, or it's in the development branch or the develop branch. We go to test it, and the first acceptance criteria that we hit, it fails, right? And we have to like send it back, and then they have to like spend another day fixing stuff, and then we go a few more steps, and it fails again. And you're like, dude, what the, right? So there are a few things that you can do for that. One thing that I'm gonna give this secret out, right? That I've adopted in the current role that I'm in is, and I also got this concept from another company that I heard they do this there, and I think it's phenomenal, right? The QA engineers, like if you ever heard of the topic of shifting QA left, that means starting the QA process earlier on in the development cycle, right? So one way that I've done this is before the developers even have a chance to implement, we're discussing how we're going to be testing this product, right? How we're going to be testing this story. So they have in their mind what QA is going to be looking for, right? So try to get your test cases or your test plans. Even if you don't have the test cases like fully detailed out, you have something that you can say, okay, this is what we're going to be looking for. This is what we're going to be testing. These are what the acceptance criteria are. You guys are in the same. You guys are in the same meetings that I'm in, right? And this is the acceptance criteria. This is what we have to do. Like we need to. It's unacceptable that as soon as you guys, say that you're done, and then the very first thing I do, I'm finding bugs. You guys aren't even living to the acceptance criteria, right? So I would say definitely start meeting with your developers earlier, and like you got to be more assertive. I think one of the problems that we have in QA is that we're not assertive enough. So it's like we're still reactive instead of being proactive. There's not like I think it's I think it's evil to have the mindset of I'm going in there looking for tons of bugs. I don't want to find bugs. I want to have a working software that we can like we do a sanity check and that things are working because we properly prepared ahead of time, and then we can go and we can deploy instead of the developers create something and now I have to report like 10 different bugs. Like that's foolish and that's evil. Like we're wasting time, we're wasting company resources, we're wasting our time, we're wasting developers' time, we're wasting customers' time. We're just wasting time, wasting money. Time is money. We can't do that. All right. So work with your developers ahead of time. Like always talking about testing. When you're planning out the stories that you're going to work on, you're asking you're asking questions from a testing perspective. So everybody, product owner, scrum master, business analyst, whoever's around, right? Software engineers, of course, whoever's around, they can know what the QA is thinking about, and we're pushing QA excellence. All right, we can't be quiet any longer. We have to push QA excellence. All right, so that's that. Now, the other thing that you can do, because I'm not sure if you mentioned that you guys have automation tests or not, but you need to work on setting up environments, right? And this is where our Sunday shows come on, where we're doing infrastructure, where we can run our tests in a CI/CD pipeline. So you need to set up your infrastructure that number one, the developers have access to running the test locally would be nice, but definitely running it on their branch so that the regression tests at least those can pass, and the developers should be looking at their own work before they like. You have to test your own work before you send it out to someone else to test, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. So you need to push that. You can't just be quiet and just like say woe is me," because well, this is what you're gonna hear. It's your job to fix your problems. Because if you're going about it where everyone is like, where you're expecting somebody else to fix your problems for you, they're gonna be like you're still working 10 to 14 hours a day, and the reason that you're working 10 to 14 hours a day is because everybody else is working 5 to 6 hours a day because you're picking up all their slack, right? And that's why you're in the situation that you're in, why you're so frustrated working at this startup. I think this is an excellent opportunity, right? Especially like with the metaverse startup company, like you can build your own path, especially at a startup company. You have free reign to implement whatever it is that you want, especially if you're the only tester there, right? So you can implement any type of QA protocol as long as you are making sure you're delivering the best software that there is, right? Now, let's move on a little bit more to so that's the developer part of it, right? Let's talk about the manager. Your manager, the problem that you have with your manager, we change the requirements without telling you and uses Google Sheets instead of Jira. I'm not sure. Like, I would assume that you're in a Scrum team, but being a startup, maybe it's like very small and everyone is working like closely together. Number one, like if you guys do have Jira, why are you? Why is he or say why is he using Google Sheets and you cannot accept it? Need some more power here. All right. So you cannot accept it. You can like if they send you a Google Sheet, you can say, can you send it to me in a Jira? Like simple as that. Like send me like put it in a Jira ticket. Right? You don't like if you but the question also is, did you set the standard? Is there a standard of a way that you guys are gonna be working? Or are you just accepting whatever? Like you letting them walk all over you? No, like I said earlier, you gotta be more assertive, right? And and that way, like you say, okay, manager, boss, whatever. Let's say Dave is your manager's name, Dave. we work in Jira here. You can't be giving me these Google Sheets of requirements. Put it in a Jira ticket, make it a story in the right format, and then I'm gonna address it. Right, and you're gonna get it tomorrow. Not like it's not happening EOD today. Right. Um, Working 10 to 14 hours a day. I mean, it, I don't think that it should be happening every day, right? Because like we addressed in the last question, there needs to be some type of work-life balance, which means you work a certain amount of hours for your company, and then you go work for yourself, right? That's the life balance I'm talking about. But and like I don't know if your salary, because typically this sounds like more of a salary job. So were you working 10 to 14 hours a day for a startup? Especially if not everybody's not putting in the same amount of effort. It's gonna be discouraging and everything like that. But I have something special for you at the end, so don't worry, okay? So um I mean you can always say that you need more people. And I don't think you need to lower anybody's expectations. You need to set, all right? You need to set the expectations. You don't lower the expectations. You set the expectations. Like this is what I'm going to be able to do for you. And if you don't like it, well, then you gotta make adjustments. I mean, sometimes the adjustments might be your job, but it's a startup. I don't think there's anything much to worry about. And now we get to the last part: is they are a startup with no clear processes and communication. This is where you get a chance to shine as a QA engineer, especially as a QA engineer working in a startup, right? You can build like where do you expect these startups to get these processes and these communications? Like everybody has to start from somewhere. You have the opportunity to set processes in place, right? You can you can set the processes, you can set the communication guidelines, and and you can go from there. Like, how can you politely? How can you say no? It's not about saying no. It's about finessing the system, working with what you've been given, right? And show what's going on, and your voice will matter more because maybe right now your voice doesn't really matter because maybe your voice doesn't matter because you don't say anything and you're just going along with what's going on, and you're just quiet, and you come online and you cry about it, right? And like I said, when you cry about it online, this is what you get. I mean, that's what you get online, right? But I get it. I get your frustration because I've had similar frustrations in the past myself, right? But you can work through it, and you need to be strategic about it and how you say no and how you push back, and you need to do it in a way that it designs the process and the communication standards for the team. And here's the other option: seems like you're doing a lot. No one's forcing you to stay there, right? If you feel overwhelmed and you're unhappy by everything that you're doing, get your resume up and start applying and see what's out there, right? A lot of times people think that like people act like they're stuck at one particular place and there's nothing that they can do. That is not true. There's nothing keeping you at any particular company. You can quit today and you don't even have to show up tomorrow, right? I wouldn't recommend that because you don't want to end a relationship like that. But nothing is forcing you to take these conditions. Nothing is, right? You're choosing to do that, and complaining about it is not going to get you anywhere. But I wouldn't jump ship based on what you're saying. It doesn't like honestly, it doesn't seem like a big deal at all, right? But you're gonna have to grow fast, um, especially at a startup because usually there's I'm not sure what position that you have there, but it seems like you're doing a lot. And oh, a test engineer, yeah, it seems like you're doing a lot, and I think you have so much potential and opportunities. The sky is the limit of what you can do, and I would say that use it as an opportunity, see it as a gift, an opportunity to grow, to expand, to push that company to new limits. Because if you do that, right, here's the trick: if you do that, if you put all these different processes in place, when you are ready to go to a different company, you have the nicest resume about what you did at your last position, and companies will swallow that up and they will give you an offer on the spot, right? So
if you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.